Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how I use this stone drill. And this is a piece of raw chert. And I'll be using this one also, and this biface as this is a saw here. And these are both drills, but different varieties. Okay, so this, my workspace is going to be this block, and I'm taking advantage of some cracks in here, and I'm going to anchor the drill bit in this crack here. I'll be drilling some red osier, and this is kind of cool. I get to see what I'm doing at the same time I'm doing it. But I can't edit this stuff on YouTube from my phone, so I may have to chop this up into different parts. But I've got some red osier shaft material, and I don't know if that'll zoom in. It doesn't look like it. Anyway, this is not straightened yet. It's pretty straight in the natural state. I've pre-straightened these two, and I've cut off the end of this one, and I'm going to be drilling this here, and I'll be drilling this one also. But I'm going to cut off these two knots. There's knots on either side. I'll cut that off, and I'll drill this down. Now, red osier is strong enough to mount an arrowhead directly to the wood, but I'm going to drill this for 4 shafts anyway. And this drill here is arrow size, because it's pretty small. For at lateral darts, the drills are larger, obviously. And I do think that red osier was drilled at least some of the time and 4-shafted, because if you've ever worked with red osier, it's lightweight. Sometimes it has a large pith, and sometimes it's highly flexible, and you can find a pretty substantial diameter piece that'll accept the 4-shaft. With thinner material, with smaller diameters, it's difficult to attach a 4-shaft. Anyway, the way I'm doing this is kind of the reverse of an atlatl dart. Atlatl darts usually are drilled on the fat end. I think in the last video I mentioned in the vast majority of cases the fat end is drilled for the 4-shaft. Well, that's for atlatl darts. For arrows, I think it's different, because if you have a bulbous nock, and I've begun to carve this a little bit. If you have a bulbous nock for the string, you want to use the fat end for that, and then shave it down here. I haven't shaved this yet. I've kind of put in the nock here a little bit, but I haven't shaved this down. So what happens is you get a barreled shaft, you shave it down all the way to here, and then it's a natural taper from here to the tip. Okay, so I'm going to be drilling the narrow or the skinnier end, which is, like I said, opposite from an atlatl dart shaft. Okay, hopefully that made sense. So I've got this one already. I've got this one ready for drilling, so I'm going to do this one first for practice. It's got a large pith. I cut this off and I looked, and this has a large pith, so it's going to be kind of easy, and hopefully it'll give me some practice before I do the other one, which seems to have a smaller pith. Okay, it makes it pretty easy, relatively easy to do this when you've got it anchored, the drill anchored to a solid platform, instead of trying to drill it by hand, instead of trying to drill it this way. But for now, I'm going to start it with this here, this perforator style drill, just so I can open up the pith. I wish you could see that. Oh, I guess it does zoom in. Okay, so that started pretty good. It went pretty fast. Okay, so see if I can get the rest of this. So let's see how it's going so far. I think it bottoms out there, so it's drilled in that far already. And it's, it's fairly easy when you've got a good sized pith in there. It's straightforward. You don't need to go really slow. If you don't have a pith in the wood, you have to go really slow, so you don't break the tip off or break the whole thing. The pith allows the drill to go in and stay relatively sharp at the tip, because you're not digging into something hard at the very tip. Okay, so the pith is not going to grab the tip and snap it off. Hope that made sense. If you're drilling something solid, like I tried drilling this solid birch style earlier, and it took me forever to get just that little bit, and I think that's only like 3/8 of an inch deep, maybe a little bit deeper, maybe a ½ inch, and it took me forever to get that done. I mean, I think it took me like 30 minutes to get that drilled out, and I was going very, very slow, and I noticed that some of the tip did break off. Anyway, let's see if I can get this to bottom out all the way down. I'm not putting much pressure downward, and I'm letting go. See how that it kind of sticks onto the drill, and you can kind of feel where where there's resistance if you move it around, and you don't want to be moving the stick around. You want to try to keep it aligned with the drill if you can. I mean, it does wobble like that, but it's fine. This hold down here is not extremely rigid. It does move also, just a little bit. So it's good to have some flexibility or some movement in everything, so you're not going to snap the drill. It's getting kind of loose. Okay, I heard a little crack, and I don't think it's the drill bit. I think it cracked here because I don't have a wrap on it. But I'm going to stop with the drilling on this one. Because I forgot to wrap. I forgot to wrap this one. But that's how deep it went so far. And I can't see the time, how much time that took. Let's see, this drill bit is yeah, it's too far away for me to see. Okay, so it's about, it's an inch and 3/8. It's about 1 3/8 total, the length of that drill. It almost bottomed out. Let me try a little bit more. Okay, so I guess the crack wasn't the wood itself. I think it was maybe a little chip off the stone. Okay, so that bottomed out, and it's reamed all the way to the edge. Now I could have this mounted to a like a stick or a handle, and then did this by hand like this. But if you notice, the axis of the drill is not centered on the middle of the base. It's slightly off, and you would have to haft it kind of off center a little bit, and then try to center this axis of the drill to the axis of the stick if you wanted to turn the stick and the drill when doing this. You could switch it around and drill it the other way, with the handle on the drill, and do it that way, which is probably one way it was done. But it's a little bit harder because you have to, align the drill, and sometimes the bits will wander in the haft, especially if it's hot and the glue or whatever gets soft. It'll tend to wander and it doesn't stay rigid. So I like to use this method where I anchor the drill bit to something solid. It keeps it from wandering, and you don't have to worry about aligning it. You just pound it in there to anchor it, and then start drilling. Okay, the next video I'm going to do a close-up so you can see the process more closely. Okay.